we'll go ahead and start the 8:30 Finance and Physical Resources Committee meeting. Wayman, would you please read the opening notice regarding electronic participation?
Sure. Pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order 2020-48, the Kent County Board of Commissioners, Finance and Fiscal Resources Committee, in order to protect the public health and its conducting of its meeting via electronic communications. Any member of the public wishing to listen to the proceedings or provide public comment may do so by using the internet connection or phone numbers and passcode that have been provided on the meeting notice. This information is also displayed on the video screen. If you wish to make public comment, you may raise your hand through the Zoom chat feature on your device, or you can notify us at publiccomment@kentcountymi.gov. Anyone who disrupts this meeting by using offensive language, or if your actions are offensive, you will be muted during this call.
Thank you, Wayman. With that, I will open up public comment. So we'll wait for a bit and see if we have public comment prior to the consent agenda.
No email. No chat.
Nothing so far.
All right, we'll give it another minute. I don't like to rush it in case there's technology issues or people are a little slower. We have time.
Yep.
Still no public comment?
No public comment.
All right, with that, we will close public comment and move to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved by
So
Breeby.
Support by Morgan.
All right, moved by Breeby, supported by Morgan. Any questions, comments, discussion on the consent agenda? Anything, Wayman?
No comments.
All right, can we have a roll call vote, please, on approving the consent agenda?
Yep. Commissioner Antor. Antor,
Yes.
Breeby,
Yes.
Breeby,
Yes.
Bolkowski,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Voorhees, Commissioner Voorhees, Womack,
Yes.
Wooden,
Yes.
and Chair Jones.
Yes, the consent agenda passes. That brings us to item number 3 on the agenda from the Administrator's Office on the federal coronavirus relief funding. Wayman, would you please read the action item?
Sure. Yes, this is a request to the Board of Commissioners to accept and appropriate $114.6 million received from the U.S. Department of Treasury for the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act from the Federal Coronavirus Relief Fund. Kent County received $114.6 million from the United States Department of Treasury pursuant to Section 601B of the Social Security Act as added by Section 5001 of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, Public number 116-136, Division A, Title V, dated March 27, 2020. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, Economic Security Act established the Coronavirus Relief Fund and appropriated $150 billion to the fund for state and local governments. The CARES Act provides financial aid to families, governments, and businesses impacted by the coronavirus disease. 2019. The resources for local government in the federal COVID-19 response program includes public health and safety, social services, housing and community development, economic and workforce development, infrastructure and small business assistance, and local government stabilization. The covered costs include necessary expenditures incurred due to the public health emergency with respect to the COVID-19 costs that were not counted for in the budget most recently approved as of March 27, 2020 for Kent County, and costs incurred during the period that begins on March 1, 2020 and ends on December 30th, 2020. Given the magnitude of the crisis, we're working on strategies that will incorporate the immediate, midterm, and long-term community's needs. These strategies will need to be well-balanced and thoughtful for the board to act on the allocation and distribution of funding. To this end, various options are being prepared for review and discussion with the board's executive committee. And Madam Chair, this was communicated last night via an email from Board Chair Mandy Bolter. There will be a subcommittee set to help with that process.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to move
Motion to
Sparks.
approve, Womack.
All right, I heard
Support.
Commissioner Sparks first
Maybe?
and support by Breve. So moved by Womack, supported by Breve. We'll take questions, comments, and discussion.
Moved by Womack.
Yes, I heard Commissioner Womack first.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Who did you?
Andor and then Wooten has comments.
Pardon?
Commissioner Antor and then Commissioner Wooten have comments and questions.
I'm sorry, but who was the first one to move the motion? I'm sorry.
I
It's very
was.
on Zoom. It gets a little challenging.
I
Wayman,
just
help
said
me
my-
out.
My name first.
I thought I heard Commissioner Womack.
All right, we're gonna go with Commissioner Womack. Move the motion, and we're gonna go with supported by Commissioner Breve.
Okay.
All right, who do we have for questions, comments, and discussion?
Commissioner Antor and Wooten and Bolkowski.
All right, Antor, Commissioner Antor? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Real quickly, I don't have the document right in front of me with the dollar amount. Wayman, could you repeat that dollar amount of the grant?
$114,633,581.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Wooden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had two quick questions. The first one was more of a question regarding the text of the resolution. Now that Chair Bolter has designated this new subcommittee, does the resolution itself need to be amended, replacing Board Executive Committee with that subcommittee, or do we not feel that's necessary?
No.
I don't believe so, but I believe what we have here is simply that the executive committee, I know that the chair has communicated with at least one member of the executive committee. She, of course, chairs that. I believe that, in fact, manages the action request as we've stated.
Okay, great. And then my other question, more on the policy, was I see that local government stabilization is one of the potential uses. And then in reviewing the guidance that we received from Treasury, it did appear that we couldn't use this to backfill a shortfall in revenue. Could someone explain how local government stabilization is a potential use in that mix?
Sure. Steve Duarte, are you on the line? Steve has been very involved with this whole process. Steve, the question, did you get the question, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm on. No, you cannot backfill for lost revenues. That is,
And so if that's the case, for what other ways can local government stabilization be used for the, what other ways can we use these funds for local government stabilization if lost revenues isn't one of them?
COVID-19 expenses.
Gotcha. I thought those were more clearly, probably wordsmithing now, but well, as I saw these, I just was confused by that and glad that we had that clarified.
That
All
would
right,
be,
Commissioner Bukowski.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Bukowski's next. And then we'll go to Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Bukowski?
Hey.
Thank you, Chair. I guess first thought is to thank Chair Bolter for putting the committee together that's going to review this and craft our plan that's going to deal with it. In preparation for that committee's work, is there I don't know how small or large the document is that has the instructions of what this money can be spent for. I have a very small experience with a much tinier amount of money at disability advocates that comes through the CARES Act, and the instructions were relatively clear on how we can use the money. So I just was wondering if there was something like that you could forward to us,
Sure.
Wayman.
Yes, we can.
All right.
We can get that out to everyone today. The
All right, thank you.
guidelines from the feds. Yes.
All right.
All right, Commissioner Morgan?
thank you, Madam Chair. I have the opinion that this is to kind of help out with COVID type scenarios, and I really appreciate Steve Duarte's input and kind of giving us a roadmap on this, and look forward to trying to navigate all the ins and outs of this grant. So thank you to Steve for kind of providing us at least a intermediate roadmap so we can get to work on this.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone else, Wayman?
Not seeing anyone else, Chair.
All right, can we please get a roll call vote?
Pamela?
Does Dave has his hand up?
Dave Bukowski had his hand up still.
Yeah. Thanks, Chair. The real quick question: where are we publicly showing what the county's expenses are related to COVID? And I mean, and again, it was a much smaller experience, but on the Board of Public Works, we would get monthly updates related to our expenditures related to PFAS, so that we knew we were keeping track of what we were expending on the PFAS issue up North County. So that way, you know, we know what we were seeking and still seeking reimbursement for those out-of-pocket costs. So is that something that will be reported on either during miscellaneous today or at the full board meeting next week? Just giving us a sense of what
Sure.
we're actually been expending.
We provided something a couple of weeks in a row regarding our expenses. I didn't do it last time I reported out at the end of the week, but we will provide that for you. The last time I think I reported, there was over $2 million that we had estimated that has been spent. And this was including some of the invoices that were out that had not been actuated. So we can provide that update. We're keeping track of that. We will send that out this week.
Thank you.
And then Wayman, along the same lines, I would assume we're having some type of projection of where we will be by the end of the
Yes.
year.
Yes, we do. We have that in tow, and that will be a part of the discussion, hopefully this week when the subcommittee meets. They will get that information. That's a part of the detail that we're expecting that subcommittee will need to have as they try to identify an approach for moving this forward. So
Okay,
we can share that at that time as well with the rest of the board as well.
great. Is there anything else before we vote? See anything, Wayman?
No, no one.
All right, can we please have a roll call vote?
Sure thing. Commissioner Antor,
Yes.
Greavy,
Yes.
Bulkowski,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Womack,
Yes.
Wooden,
Yes.
Chair Jones.
Yes. That motion passes. We will move to item number 4, to the Board of Commissioners from Fiscal Services. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to the Board of Commissioners to authorize a summer 2020 general operating property tax levy pursuant to tax state law. A notice of public hearing concerning the 2020 county budget was published in a newspaper of general circulation on October 27, 2019. And a public hearing concerning the budget was held on November the 7th, 2019. The County Board of Commissioners adopted a fiscal year 2020 appropriation on November 21, 2019. The 2020 budget requires a levy of 4.2243 mills for general operating purposes to be authorized for the 2020 summer tax billing, which has a tax levy date of July 1, 2020. Funds derived from the levy of this millage will be utilized to support the previously adopted fiscal year 2020 general operating purposes. This action item is not an activity related to COVID-19.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve?
Sparks, motion to
So
move.
moved.
Okay, we have moved by Sparks and we have supported by Breedy. Is there questions, comments, or discussion on this action item?
No hands, Chair.
All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote, please.
Antor,
Yes.
Greavy,
Yes.
Bulkowski,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Womack,
Yes.
Wooden,
Yes.
Chair Jones.
Yes, that motion passes. We will go to item number 5 on our agenda from the Circuit Court. Wayman, would you please read that action request?
Yes, Chair. This is a request to recommend to the Board of Commissioners to accept and appropriate $400,000 from the Department of Health and Human Services, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Office to the Special Projects Fund for the 17th Circuit Court Mental Health Court, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. On March 9, 2017, the Board of Commissioners accepted and appropriated a mental health court planning grant awarded by the State Court Administrative Office, 17th Circuit Mental Health Court. A mental health court is a specialized court docket for certain defendants with mental illness that substitutes a problem-solving model for traditional criminal court processing. Board of Commissioners approved the first year of the $400,000 grant award from May 31, 2019 through May 30, 2020 on Resolution 627-1954. The Circuit Court has been awarded the second $400,000 for expansion and improvement of the mental health court within the county. Grant dollars will be used to contract for the following services: transportation, program coordination, clinical support, data entry, program involvement, drug test, and legal defense. The goals of the program include improving public safety by reduction in recidivism for defendants, improving the quality of life with mental illnesses, and increase their participation in effective treatment and reducing court and corrections related costs through administrative efficiencies, often by providing an alternative to incarceration. The court has a caseload of up to 40 clients, and most, if not all, of the clients in the mental health court are managed in the community while being engaged in treatment. The second term of the grant is May 31, 2020 through May 30th, 2021. This action is not an activity related to COVID-19.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve?
Voorhees moved.
Support, Breeby.
All right, moved by Voorhees, support by Commissioner Breve. We will now take questions, comments, and discussion. I see a hand up from Commissioner Bukowski.
Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. I think I saw Andrew online. With this caseload of mental health court, excellent work and all that. Do we have other clients that are participating in the mental health court that the services are funded outside of this grant, or does this grant cover all the mental health court services?
Andy Thalhammer should be on the line.
Yep, I'm here. I'm gonna defer over to Terry Clark, who is doing a lot of the coordination duties, to answer that. I think the short answer is yes, but I think she can give you a more detailed response. So I'm gonna defer to her.
Good morning, everyone. We currently have 2 grants that we're utilizing to fund the mental health court, otherwise called TASK, Treatment and Support Court. We have some dollars coming, about $140,000 from SCALE and then $400 from SAMHSA. We use the dollars a little bit differently, although they have a little overlap. The intent was that we could better serve individuals with severe mental illness who also have co-occurring substance abuse. And we are finding that about 85% to 90% of the people who are currently enrolled in TASK do have co-occurring.
All right, and is there any dollars beyond these 2 grants then that support TASK?
I think there are some general county dollars at minimum, maybe for some basic supplies, but for the most part, the court is supported by these grants. There are in-kind dollars such as the judge's time, prosecutor's office, MDOC probation.
All right, thank you.
Funded. Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyone else?
No,
You see anything
Madam
else?
Chair.
All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Antor,
Yes.
Breve,
Yes.
Bukowski,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Womack,
Yes.
Wooden,
Yes.
Chair Jones.
Yes. Now, just a reminder, everyone should have seen a revised agenda. So the next item is item 6 is from purchasing. So again, with a revised agenda, item 6 is from purchasing. So Wayman, will you please read item 6?
Sure. Yes, this is a request to the Finance and Fiscal Resources Committee to approve the request to exempt from bid RFP requirements for the City of Kentwood in conformance with fiscal policy centralized purchasing, section 7A.7. On April 14, 2019, Finance and Fiscal Resources awarded RFP 3626 Veterans Park Phase 1 dated March 19, 2019 for $1.4 million. The award was formalized by a 3-way contract between Denny's Excavating, the City of Kentwood, and Kent County. Subsequent to the award, the City of Kentwood expanded the scope of the project to include the installation of the final section of playground equipment and improvements to the soccer field at the existing site. The change in scope increased the total cost for the project from $1.5 million to $2 million, or $572,400. Purchasing has reviewed the expanded scope and costs appear reasonable and consistent with the original response to RFP 3626. Kent County share of the total project is $966,000, while the City of Kentwood share is $1.1 million. The City of Kentwood is responsible for any cost overruns.
Okay, questions, comments? Oh, I'm sorry. First, let's start with a motion to approve. Is there a motion to approve?
Reeve, motion.
Support.
Okay, moved by Breeze, supported by
Sparks.
Sparks. Now, questions, comments, and discussion. Dave Bukowski? Commissioner Bukowski, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted clarity on this, Wayman. In the letter from Mr. Bradshaw in the City of Kentwood, where it noted that the city is going to pay for all project costs exceeding the community action funding for this.
Yeah.
Was any of the increase 572,000 county dollars, or did all the increases from the city?
So Cal Brinks is on the call. He should be able to answer that question for you, Commissioner.
Thanks.
Good morning. This is Cal Brinks. The increase is a shift of funds in the Kentwood CDBG. So the funds are appropriated. The action request is for the exemption of the policy. I'm sure Susan could address how the funds are appropriated, or Steve, but they are existing appropriated funds between projects at Kentwood.
Does that answer your question, Commissioner?
No, I don't know if Susan was going to dive in. I guess then, with that being said, it's so that the Kent County funds in this is the community action dollars that are allocated for Kentwood. So there might be movement of those dollars from one year to the next, but there is no increased cost for Kent County general fund or any other fund related to this project.
Susan Cervantes is on the line, I believe, and she could probably answer that question.
Good morning. What I am going to do is defer to Chad Kaufman. He is on the line, and he can explain this exactly about what happened. We no longer have allocations to the local units of government. We have an RFP process.
Go ahead.
Yes, this is Chad Kaufman. Commissioner Bukowski, there's no increase in cost to the county. What's happening is the City of Kentwood was also awarded in 2019 separate funding for a project, for a street project, about $350,000 that they've determined to cancel that project and shift those funds over to the Parks project. So there's no increase in county funding. This is money that's already been awarded, but on a separate project. They're canceling one and shifting it to the first project.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, is there anyone else?
Morgan has a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner Morgan.
This is for Cal. We're asking for just to suspend a portion of our purchasing policy. Is it because it's community development funds? I just don't understand why we didn't have a amendment to the original contract to do this extra work.
Thank you for the question. The answer is the reason we just didn't go forward with the amendment is because of the 572,000 exceeds the allowed amount that we can amend a contract without your finance committee approval. And so that is what's bringing us here. If it was just a small amount, we would consider it and amend it outside of this group.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Wayman, I have a quick question, Wayman. Who owns the equipment once it's installed?
City of Kentwood, I believe, but Chad, you can answer that question.
Correct. The City of Kentwood. This is the City of Kentwood Park.
Okay, Just on the front end, I want everyone to know that because of my day job, I will be abstaining from the vote because of a conflict, okay? So with that, is there any other questions, comments, or discussion on item 6?
No.
All right, can we please have a roll call vote, ma'am?
Yep. Commissioner Antor,
Yes.
Brevi,
Yes.
Bukowski,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Sparks,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Womack,
Yes.
Wooden,
Yes.
and Chair Jones.
I abstain. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 7, which is Commissioner Miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner Miscellaneous this morning? You see anything, Wayman?
No, nothing so far, Chair. Nothing.
All right.
Yep.
We will go ahead and adjourn, and our next meeting date is May 19th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.